a different one. The other one I used, that was pumpkin color. I was thinking of bringing that one or this one, and then I was like, oh, most of the foliage would be that color. So I was like, I should bring a red one. And then I remembered watching the film, I was like, aha. Yeah, I almost wore like the costume. I still remember the first day, which is the audition day, and it's about seeing the other person. And I remember when she walked in the room, I was like, and you have to just like admit that, surrender. Just surrender. And I think love is about surrendering. And I have a favorite quote from one of the Pompeii carvings, and it goes like, long live who love, perish who don't, and perish twice the people who forbid love. Starting from the beginning, when I saw like the character description that Annie's from Beijing and I'm from Beijing, and immediately I was like this is the role for me, because being Chinese and American, it's so difficult to find a role that is you, or a role that you don't need to shed your identity, acting skills, whatever, like a characterization that comes later. But the first one, you need to know like which story to tell, and I think that is the very specific story that I want to tell about myself, about Caroline, about who we are. So that was the first thing that really caught my attention. And then I was reading the script and then seeing how she was using Chinese words, and she wanted to hear the Chinese accent. So specifically like a Beijing accent, which is different from all the other regions, The nuance that we have in our lives, being who we are. And that was just beautiful, and I had a really great time just self-taping for it. And I was like, oh, you can say it like this. And I was like, yes, exactly. That's how it is. So that I also just enjoyed a lot, working on that. To be honest, born and raised in Beijing, being a Hong Kong citizen, I know a lot of friends who are in this intersection. And in theater, we actually talk a lot about interdisciplinary, and the world, who people really are not actually what this story is like. When we grew up listening to it, I was like, oh, you're like this one thing, and then if you're Chinese, then you're this kind. It's so big. Everybody has a different experience. And me having lived my life and walked in my shoes, I don't know the Beijing or the Chinese girl that some mainstream media portrays. Like, I don't know who that is. That's actually a myth to me. And I don't know who that character is. But I know me, and I know my friends. And I know how it is to recognize among ourselves and not recognize, and being asked or being imagined. Sometimes I feel like being imagined and not understood by people from different path of life. But I think that's the part that really makes me want to stand out, to come and say, hey, like this is me. And sometimes I feel it's probably my ignorance or growing up as a part of the majority is that I don't think I didn't realize I'm a minority until I came to America, and I was like, oh, okay. It seems that things are done differently here, So a lot of emotions I recognize, I identify with, but it's so nuanced and different from the stories being told before. And I think that's the importance of keep telling our stories, because every time you tell it, you're gonna find something new. You're gonna keep rediscovering it. And every time you tell it, you find out what actually it is. I think it also the fact that this is a romantic relationship between Annie and Sam is that, to me, romance requires a lot of listening and not knowing but be surprised. So that actually worked really well for me coming out of Zoom class and having the doubt, like not knowing how it is to act, to be in front of a camera, and having sort of forgotten how it is to work with a scene partner. But that actually refreshed it. So it also made me to rely and trust a lot on my partner, and just watch her, just listen to her, just love her and be surprised, and also trust a lot on Caroline because she knows, she watches. So I think it really boiled down to knowing that nothing's fixed, knowing that you cannot know everything, trusting your partners, your scene partners, your creative partners, and also just give different try. The last shot, the last look, Caroline in that scene, Caroline asked me to give 4 different kind of deliveries. So I was sitting on the bed and then just giving those at those times, and that was so different from theater. Because theater, you're sort of more working linear towards it. You make that decision, you just perfect that decision. So in that moment, I was like, I see. That's something new. That's exciting. And then I'm trying to, answer to that challenge, answer to that call on set. Yeah, and I think it's also something during the COVID I found out, because COVID was this big question of being disturbed. Plans being changed, what you gonna do?